The chefs of the human world were determined to turn the billion bird into a delicacy. Although many considered the billion bird unpalatable, its appearance suggested otherwise. Its dried and ground beak could substitute rice, its claws used as seasoning, and its meat perfect for stewing, simple yet delicious. This proved that the lack of delicious dishes wasn't due to the absence of quality ingredients, but a lack of culinary creativity. Chefs diligently researched various billion bird recipes, from curries to hot pots, each striving to create delicious and filling meals for everyone. In short, the billion bird might not be inherently delicious, but the chefs, with their skills, transformed this disregarded ingredient into culinary delights. Wabutora busied himself with frying chicken, the sizzling sound of oil a comforting melody to his ears. It had been a while since he last heard such a delightful sound. Finally, humanity had escaped the brink of apocalypse and could savor the true taste of ingredients. People ate with tears streaming down their faces, tears of gratitude for their saviors, for their own survival, and for the opportunity to enjoy such delectable meals. Though not the most exquisite dishes, they were not mere medicine, but the aroma of fresh ingredients, the richness of the sauce, and the satisfying feeling of each bite. Everyone was moved, rediscovering the joy of eating. Toriko, witnessing the sight of people eating and crying, exclaimed, "Chefs are truly amazing. The taste of the billion bird I experienced in the gourmet casino's brain data pales in comparison to what everyone has created. It's remarkable to turn the billion bird into something so delicious." Komatsu disagreed. From the start he never considered the billion bird difficult to eat. On the contrary, he believed it to be an excellent ingredient, making its extinction even more unbelievable. Stroking the billion bird's head, he murmured, "Those monsters had no idea how delicious you are. To live for thousands of years unnoticed, going extinct in silence, I wonder how that feels." He recalled Ichiria's words, "Without someone to prepare it, an ingredient holds no value. Just like my full course menu." Hugging the billion bird tightly, Komatsu said gently, "Everyone thinks you're delicious now. Thank you for being reborn into this world." Even before its rebirth, the billion bird had sensed Komatsu's care. Now his heartwarming words brought tears to its eyes. At that moment the billion bird understood Komatsu's feelings. It suddenly raised its wings, creating a rustling sound. Komatsu and Toriko watched in astonishment as its wings grew longer, vibrant feathers overlapping one another. Soon a pair of glistening wings emerged. Though its face and wings seemed disproportionate, it didn't diminish its splendor. The billion bird flapped its wings and soared into the sky. "How can the billion bird fly? I thought it couldn't," exclaimed a surprised Toriko. But with Komatsu's influence it seemed plausible. "Old man, do you see this? Your full-course menu has taken flight." Tears welled up in Komatsu's eyes as he watched the billion bird soar through the sky. It was the first time he had witnessed such beautiful plumage. Could it be that being recognized by the world allowed it to soar through the heavens? The billion bird circled overhead seemingly joyful. Suddenly its rear end twitched with a thump, several shiny eggs dropped from its body. Komatsu swiftly caught one. Both he and Toriko sensed that this was no ordinary egg, it was entirely different from the previous ones. Komatsu firmly believed that the billion bird was a special ingredient, and these eggs were undoubtedly its essence. He immediately gathered Coco, Sunny and the others, sharing the news of the billion bird's flight. Sunny, almost screeching in astonishment, exclaimed, "What? That filthy bird is flying now? And it's beautiful? Are you serious?" Komatsu swore it was true, adding emphatically, "It has a handsome face too." Coco was more interested in the origin of these eggs. These eggs weren't laid due to an attack but as a result of praisum. This detail alone proves that this is a special ingredient. While such a phenomenon seemed unusual, ultimately as long as an ingredient was edible and delicious it didn't matter. Eagerly Toriko cracked open an egg, pouring the yolk into a cup. The yolk was smooth, translucent like jelly with no sign of its usual opaque form. Everyone was amazed by its pudding-like elasticity. Observant as ever, Coco pointed out, "Look closely, the yolk is spreading, shimmering like gold dust under the sunlight." Toriko gulped, immediately taking a sip. The yolk, as smooth as pudding, glided down his throat with a gentle suction. Overwhelmed by its deliciousness, he could only manage a delayed, "Delicious." Komatsu, seeing Toriko's exaggerated reaction, panicked slightly. Is this another hair-growing ingredient? Can it be mass-produced to save the balding population? Oblivious, Toriko continued to savor the taste. Only after fully experiencing the exquisite flavor of the billion bird egg did he answer Komatsu's question. "My hair grew longer because it's so incredibly delicious." The rich flavor of the 1,000-year-old billion bird spreads throughout the body, opening up the pores and promoting hair growth. Sunny, gazing at Toriko's long, flowing hair, felt a mix of envy and anticipation. "It has such amazing hair-nourishing effects?" He then eagerly took a gulp himself. Sunny, already known for his incredibly long hair, found even his eyelashes growing to a startling length after consuming the bird egg, making it difficult for others to look him in the eye. Coco wasn't spared either. His transformation gave him the air of a dashing male lead straight out of a romantic drama. Zebra's eyebrows and hair also grew at an alarming rate, leading him to exclaim that the egg was more like a magical elixir than food. Meanwhile, Komatsu, completely absorbed by everyone else's dramatic changes, remained oblivious to his own incredible transformation. Toriko closed his eyes, taking a moment to process the sensations washing over him. It's as if my body, down to a genetic level, is being completely revitalized, even the smallest of wounds healing at an accelerated rate, he murmured in awe. He cracked another egg, raising it in a toast to the others. I've decided, he announced, a newfound confidence in his voice, these billion bird eggs, they're going on my life menu, under the beverage category. The others responded with smiles and nods of agreement, their faces glowing with delight. Suddenly, Rin came rushing towards them, her face alight with excitement, only to stop short, completely speechless at the sight before her. What in the world, she stammered, completely bewildered. Why do you all look like magical girls? The Earth's magnetic field was in complete disarray, a massive whirlpool forming in the sky. The cause of this global anomaly, the three animal partners of the four heavenly kings, Terry, Kiss and Quinn, were engaged in a fierce battle. Each clash of their immense power shook the very foundations of the land, the air crackling with energy as their attacks collided. Finally, the three managed to separate, panting heavily, ready to resume their brawl when Terry noticed movement in the distance. It was Toriko, he was back. The fight instantly forgotten, they rushed towards their returning friend. Toriko beamed, running his hand over Terry's soft, luxurious fur. I'm so sorry for worrying you, buddy, he said, his voice full of warmth. Terry had grown considerably in Toriko's absence, his massive jaws now a tight fit in Toriko's embrace. Looking at his other two companions, Toriko realized that all three were now ready to face the challenges that awaited them in the gourmet world. Suddenly Tom came bounding towards them, a bottle of sake clutched in his hand, yelling Toriko's name. He'd come to celebrate Toriko's return. They exchanged hearty cheers, draining their cups in one gulp. Toriko, sensing his friend's thoughts, smiled warmly. Their time was short. Before leaving, there was one last thing Toriko needed to do: confront the mysterious figure residing in the treehouse. After all, their next journey would be a long and perilous one, and who knew when they'd have the chance to return here again. At the headquarters in Egypt, Mansam received exhilarating news: they've commenced operations in the city. With the land on its way to recovery, other systems would gradually regenerate, breathing life back into the world. In time, the human world would be restored to a vibrant and beautiful home. He issued an order for the reconstruction of Area NEO, emphasizing the importance of railway lines. Just then Johannes arrived with a report: the device for measuring capture levels of gourmet world ingredients is essentially complete. Having served diligently for so long, Johannes had finally been promoted to director of NEO's development bureau. Mansam was immensely satisfied with their progress. As expected, the full revival of the gourmet age relied on obtaining ingredients from the gourmet world, and of course the strength of the four heavenly kings. It was remarkable that Toriko had chosen to include this unique ingredient in his full course menu. Taking Toriko in all those years ago was undoubtedly the right decision, he murmured. He vividly remembered the day he and Ichiryu, the former president of the IGO, were on a hunting expedition in the wilderness. They came across a young, emaciated Toriko, weak from hunger and barely able to crawl across the dry earth. Ichiryu was the first to recognize the boy's unique nature. Toriko was a natural-born gourmet cell host. However, Ichiryu walked up to him without a word and handed him a piece of bread. Toriko took the bread and stuffed it into his shirt, then trembled and was about to leave. Ichiryu asked him where he wanted to go. Toriko thanked him and said he wanted to go to the village where everyone was starving. He wanted to bring this bread back to share with everyone. Ichiryu was touched by the boy's heart. Although he was so hungry that his stomach growled and he staggered, he always thought of others. As soon as Toriko finished speaking, he fainted. Ichiryu hurriedly caught him and only then discovered that the boy's fingernails were almost gone. This was a sign that the boy had been gnawing on himself. He was so hungry that he had to bite his nails to relieve the hunger, yet he still endured it, thinking of the villagers first. Such purity, kindness and loveliness were rare in this world. Therefore he made a bold decision: I want to adopt this child. My life's menu is meant for those who have a sharing heart like yours. Later, if one day the gourmet age collapses, this sharing heart will certainly become a powerful driving force, shouldering the age and humanity. Mansam still remembered Ichiryu's bright smile at that time. He had said, I want to see what kind of magnificent menu this young man will assemble in the future. Although he was no longer able to witness it, there was no doubt that his belief had been passed on. Mansam raised his glass high, toasting to the great chairman, and also to those who always carry a deep concern for all living beings. In the gourmet world's rock forest, Setsuno and Jiro came across a giant million tree. Upon seeing it, Jiro guessed, Midora must have cut it down to make a tombstone. It's well maintained, the stone flowers are even blooming. However, I heard the land here has been barren for a long time. Setsuno said. Could this be the work of the regeneration specialists? Jiro shook his head. It must be Midora's doing. The rock forest was the place where the three of them trained together, filled with memories. Back then, Midora was the weakest, but now, even Jiro himself might not be his match. Jiro took out a bottle of wine and slowly poured it onto the ground. He told Setsuno not to worry about that idiot anymore. Sooner or later, he would have to pay for the sins he inflicted upon the human world. Compared to him, the most important issue now is Schwa, Setsuno's side. We have to be mentally prepared for a direct confrontation with him. Exploring Gourmet World, we might very well lose our lives here. In short, we will wait for Toriko and Komatsu in the Gourmet World. After all, they wouldn't be returning to the human world. Will the human world be alright? Jiro turned back to look at Setsuno and said, "It will be fine. Those Toriko kids are more reliable than we think." At Setsuno's restaurant, Komatsu arrived looking for Setsuno, but Nono greeted him instead. Nono informed him that Setsuno had already left for the Gourmet World, and it was uncertain when she would return. Komatsu said he would come back another time. Nono called him back asking if he wanted to stay for a meal. Though Komatsu himself had brought the billion-bird egg, she insisted on treating him. After bidding farewell to Nono, everyone gathered. Mansam roared, "Is everyone ready, all 5 of you?" The 4 heavenly kings and Komatsu responded in unison, "Ready." Receiving their confirmation, Mansam swiftly stripped off his clothes, grabbed a glass of wine, and settled into a bathtub. He changes so quickly. Why is he taking a bath again? Before departing, Toriko led everyone back to the treehouse. He had a hunch about the place. Previously, treasure chests hidden in different habitats were always guarded by beasts. Komatsu didn't understand. Is there something unfinished? Toriko walked straight into the air while the others following closely. Zebra grew impatient. "This is troublesome. Whatever it is, let's finish it quickly." He unleashed a powerful sound blast aiming to shatter the treehouse. However, despite his efforts, the structure remained unscathed. Such strong wood, it probably only exists in the Gourmet World. Sunny, standing in front, remarked, "There's a front door, why not use it?" Everyone followed Coco inside. The house was spacious, everything crafted from leaves, even the refrigerator and bookshelves. Moreover, there were many adult books, causing Coco's small face to flush red. Komatsu discovered an entrance leading downwards. It led to a bedroom with a unique bed and bedding made of leaves. But the first thing that caught Coco's attention were the piles of adult books in the corner. Toriko intended to continue downwards to find the owner, but there was no other exit on this floor. The only option left was to use his nail gun for a simple and crude solution. Komatsu and Coco were blown away by the storm created by the nail gun, but the house didn't budge. The hot-tempered zebra told them to move aside, wanting to try his super flame. Still nothing. Toriko was sure his sense of smell wasn't mistaken. The target was currently on the first floor. Sunny's hair fluttered wildly. This must be another one of the old man's pranks. The entrance must be hidden somewhere in this small room. I'll find it. He noticed something amiss with the scenery beside him. Komatsu rushed over, and indeed there was a path inside the well. Following it, they arrived at a bathing room with an enormous hot spring. Instinctively, Toriko and Komatsu stripped naked, ready for a soak. A speechless Coco asked, "What are we doing here?" According to the electromagnetic waves he was picking up, the pool in the yard was also suspicious, seemingly connected to another location. "Let's dive down and see." With it, he jumped in. However, after swimming from one side of the pool to the other, all he found was the bottom. The pool was connected to a secret location. Zebra had already used echolocation to pinpoint the position. Meanwhile, Komatsu discovered that a window on the first floor could be opened. In other words, the entrance to the first floor had been right in front of them all along. The hot-headed zebra immediately erupted, kicking the window open with a bang, urging everyone to enter. However, upon stepping inside, they were met with the sight of Nitro lying on the floor, his head smashed by the window. The video ends here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments to support the channel. New anime series will be uploaded regularly on 21st Century Anime. Thank you.